Have you ever found yourself wondering about the invisible threads that weave our families together? Those deep, often unspoken connections that shape how our children see the world, how they approach relationships, and even how they feel about themselves. It's something many of us ponder, especially when we see our little ones react in ways we don't always understand, perhaps clinging a little too tightly, or seeming a bit too distant, or maybe just navigating the big emotions of childhood with a unique intensity. This journey of connection, of understanding the emotional bonds we share, is at the very heart of family life. It's a landscape filled with joy, certainly, but also sometimes with questions and challenges. We might see echoes of our own childhoods in our parenting, or feel a bit lost trying to create the kind of secure, loving base we so deeply want for our children. Today, we're going to gently explore this landscape together. Our focus isn't on rigid rules or perfect parenting, because, let's be honest, that doesn't exist. Instead, we're looking at practical, compassionate ways to understand the foundational bonds, often called attachment, and how we can nurture them in our everyday lives. It's about understanding these connections, not just in our children, but also within ourselves, and how that awareness can be incredibly empowering. One of the most powerful starting points, and it might sound a little counterintuitive at first, is actually turning the lens inward to our own stories. You see, before we even became parents, we were children. We had our own experiences of being cared for, of feeling safe, or perhaps, at times, a little unsure. These early experiences, the way we ourselves were attached to our caregivers, often subtly shape the way we parent, the way we respond to our children's needs, even the emotional atmosphere we create in our homes. It's not about blame or digging up the past to find fault. Not at all. It's about gentle awareness. Think of it like this. If you grew up in a home where big emotions weren't really talked about, or where you felt you had to be very independent from a young age, you might, without even realizing it, find it a bit tricky to sit with your own child's big feelings. Or you might unconsciously encourage a similar level of independence, perhaps a little sooner than they're ready. Recognizing these patterns isn't about judging our parents or ourselves. It's about understanding the blueprint we might be working from. It's like discovering you've been navigating with an old map. The map got you here, and that's okay. But now you have the chance to update it, to draw in new routes based on what you're learning and what your child needs. So, a really loving first step is just to create a little space for reflection. Maybe when you have a quiet moment, perhaps with a cup of tea, just gently ask yourself, what was it like for me as a child when I was sad or scared or needed comfort? How were my needs met? What messages did I receive about expressing my emotions? There are no right or wrong answers, just your truth. And simply acknowledging that truth can be the beginning of a more conscious, intentional way of connecting with your own children. It's not about dwelling in the past, but about letting the wisdom of your own story inform the beautiful present story you're creating with your family now. This self-awareness, this gentle looking inward, is a profound act of love, both for yourself and for your children. It helps us clear the path, so to speak, so we can more clearly see what our children need from us to feel truly safe and understood, which leads us so naturally into how we can actively build that strong, secure foundation with them every single day. One of the most beautiful and powerful ways we build that secure foundation is through something called responsive caregiving. Now, that might sound like a technical term, but at its heart, it's incredibly simple and intuitive. It's about truly seeing our child, hearing them, not just their words, but the feelings and needs beneath them. and then responding in a way that makes them feel understood, safe, and valued. It's about being a consistent, reliable haven for them. Think about a tiny baby crying. Responsive caregiving isn't just about picking them up, though that's often part of it. It's about the way we pick them up, with gentleness, with a soothing voice, maybe some eye contact that says, "I'm here, I see you're distressed, and I'm going to help you." It's about trying to figure out what they need. Are they hungry, wet, tired, or just needing closeness? And even if we don't get it right immediately, the act of trying, of being present and attuned, sends a powerful message of safety. As they grow, responsiveness looks a little different, but the essence is the same. For a toddler having a meltdown in the grocery store because they can't have the sugary cereal, responsive caregiving isn't necessarily about giving in to the demand. Instead, it might be gained down to their level, acknowledging their big feeling. "Wow, you are so mad right now that we can't get those colorful puffs. I see that." And then offering comfort and a boundary. "I know it's disappointing. We're going to get the healthy cereal today, but I can give you a big hug when we get to the car if you're still feeling sad." For not dismissing their emotion, you're validating it while still holding the line. You're showing them that their feelings are okay, even the big messy ones, and that you can handle them. With older children and teens, responsiveness might involve a lot more listening than fixing. When your preteen comes home upset about a friendship issue, our instinct might be to jump in with solutions. But responsive caregiving might first look like just sitting with them, really listening without interrupting, and saying something like, "That sounds incredibly tough. Tell me more about how that made you feel." It's about creating a space where they feel safe to be vulnerable, knowing they won't be judged or immediately told what to do. It's in these thousands of small, everyday interactions, the way we meet their gaze, the tone of our voice, our willingness to pause and truly connect, even when we're tired or stressed, that we weave that fabric of secure attachment. It's not about grand gestures, but consistent, attuned presence. It's saying, "You matter, your feelings matter, and I'm here for you, no matter what." This consistent message helps them build an internal sense of safety, a belief that the world is a generally good place, and that they have a secure base to return to, always. This is the bedrock of emotional well-being. Now, life isn't always smooth sailing, and sometimes, despite our best intentions, or perhaps because of challenges in our own histories or current life stressors, patterns of insecurity can emerge in our children's attachment styles. We might notice a child who seems unusually clingy, who gets incredibly distressed when we leave, even for a short time, and is very hard to soothe upon our return. Or, on the flip side, we might see a child who seems almost too independent, who rarely seeks comfort, and who might push away affection, or appearing different to our comings and goings. These can be signs of what are sometimes called anxious ambivalent or anxious avoidant attachment patterns. It's so important to approach these observations with immense compassion, both for our child and for ourselves. These patterns aren't a reflection of a bad child or a failed parent. They are, more often than not, a child's very clever, albeit sometimes painful, adaptation to their relational world as they've experienced it. For the child who is intensely clingy and hard to soothe, let's imagine a little one, maybe named Anne from our earlier thoughts, who gets very upset when her mom, perhaps overwhelmed herself, is sometimes available and warm, but other times distracted or unavailable. Anne learns that she has to ramp up her distress, be very loud and persistent, to ensure her needs for connection get met. It's like her internal alarm system is set to high alert because she's not quite sure if her safe person will consistently be there for her. Then there's the child who might seem to shut down their needs, the one who learns to be a little adult too soon. Perhaps this child, let's call him Joe, experienced caregivers who were consistently dismissive of his emotional needs. or perhaps even found them irritating. Joe might learn that expressing his needs leads to rejection or discomfort, so he suppresses them. He learns to rely only on himself, to not expect comfort from others. It's a protective strategy, but one that can make true intimacy and connection challenging later on. So, what can we do when we notice these kinds of patterns? The first step, as always, is gentle observation without judgment. Try to understand the function of the behavior. What is my child trying to communicate, even if they don't have the words for it? For a child like Anne, who is anxious and clingy, our response needs to be one of overwhelming consistency and reassurance. When she's distressed, even if it feels over the top to us, meeting her with calm, predictable comfort, again and again, helps to slowly reset that internal alarm. It might mean more cuddles, more patient listening, more explicit reassurances like, "I'm going to the kitchen for just a minute and then I'll be right back. You are safe." It's about being that steady, reliable anchor, even when her emotional seas are stormy. She needs to experience repeatedly that her needs will be met, that she doesn't have to scream to be heard. For a child like Joe, who might seem to push connection away, the approach needs to be incredibly patient and gentle. Forcing affection or demanding emotional expression will likely make him retreat further. Instead, it's about creating consistent, low-pressure opportunities for connection. It might be sitting quietly beside him while he plays, offering a small, unspoken gesture of care, like a favorite snack, or simply being physically present in the room without demanding interaction. It's about sending the message, "I'm here when you're ready. Your feelings are welcome, even the quiet ones. You don't have to earn my love or attention by being a certain way." It's about gently, patiently inviting him into connection, respecting his pace, and showing him through consistent, non-demanding presence that it's safe to soften and let his guard down bit by bit. This kind of compassionate, attuned parenting can help a child slowly rewrite their internal working model of relationships, moving them towards a greater sense of security and trust. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a whole lot of love, but it is so incredibly worth it. This journey of nurturing connection and navigating different attachment patterns, both in our children and within ourselves, is truly a lifelong one. And one of the most hopeful and empowering truths in all of this is that attachment isn't a fixed, unchangeable destiny. Even if our early experiences or our children's early experiences were challenging, there's always room for healing, for growth, and for what experts call earned security. This is the beautiful idea that even if we didn't start out with a secure attachment, we can develop it later in life through self-awareness, supportive relationships, and sometimes with the help of a caring professional. Sometimes the challenges can feel particularly complex. There are situations where a child, perhaps like little Amy from our earlier musings, who experienced very inconsistent or even frightening care in her early life, might develop what's known as a disorganized attachment. This can look like a child who is confused, perhaps showing contradictory behaviors. They might seek closeness one moment and then push away or freeze the next. They might seem fearful even with their primary caregiver. This happens when the person who is supposed to be their source of safety is also, at times, a source of fear or unpredictability. It's an incredibly difficult internal conflict for a child to navigate. In these more complex situations, or even when we just feel stuck or overwhelmed as parents, trying to understand our child's needs or our own reactions, reaching out for support is an act of incredible strength and love. It might be talking to a trusted friend, joining a parenting group, or seeking guidance from a therapist who understands attachment. There's no shame in needing help. In fact, it's a sign that you're deeply committed to your child's well-being and your family's connection. These professionals can offer new perspectives, tools, and a safe space to process your own experiences and learn new ways of relating. The path to earn security for ourselves or for our children often involves the power of repair. Life is messy, and no parent is perfectly attuned all the time. We all have moments when we're stressed, distracted, or when we misread our child's cues. We might snap, or be impatient, or miss an opportunity for connection. These moments are inevitable, but what's truly powerful is what happens after these ruptures. When we can go back to our child, acknowledge what happened, apologize if needed, and reconnect, that's repair. It might be saying, "Honey, I'm so sorry I raised my voice earlier. I was feeling really frustrated, but that wasn't fair to you. Can we have a hug?" Those moments of repair are incredibly healing. They teach our children that relationships can withstand mistakes, that conflict doesn't mean the end of love, and that connection can be restored. It shows them that we value our relationship with them enough to make things right. So whether you're working on understanding your own attachment history, consciously nurturing security in your young child, or navigating more complex patterns with compassion, remember that every small step towards understanding and connection matters. It's about choosing presence over perfection, compassion over criticism, and repair over resentment. This journey isn't about achieving a flawless attachment style. It's about fostering a loving, resilient connection that can weather the storms of life and provide a deep, abiding sense of belonging for everyone in the family. It's a continuous dance of attunement, rupture, and repair. And it's in that dance that the deepest bonds are forged. Parenting, at its core, is this incredible journey of connection, isn't it? It's about learning to see the world through our children's eyes, understanding the unique ways they experience love and safety, and showing up for them with as much compassion and wisdom as we can muster each day. Exploring these ideas around attachment isn't about adding another thing to our already full parental plates, or about striving for some unattainable ideal. It's really about deepening our understanding, finding more compassion for ourselves and our children, and discovering new ways to strengthen those precious bonds that make a family. There will be days when it feels easy and natural, and other days when it feels like we're fumbling in the dark. And that's okay. That's human. The beautiful thing is that our capacity to connect, to learn, and to grow alongside our children is immense. Every effort we make to understand, to be present, to offer that safe harbor, contributes to the beautiful tapestry of our family story. Trust in your ability to nurture these connections, to repair when needed, and to keep showing up with an open heart. You are doing incredible work, simply by being on this path, seeking to understand and connect more deeply. If these thoughts and ideas resonated with you today, and you'd like to continue exploring ways to build stronger, more compassionate family connections, we'd be so honored if you'd consider liking this video and sharing it with anyone else you think might find it helpful. And of course, if you haven't already, we warmly invite you to subscribe to Family Connection Hub. We're building a community here, a place for shared learning, support, and encouragement on this amazing and sometimes challenging journey of family life. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other.